Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. It's been a while since we've gone live. Another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. It's been a while since we've gone live. Another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. Wow. Give me one sec, guys. Just making sure everything is still operating correctly. All right, so let's get this started. Thank you to Darren's suggestion for doing morning lives, and we are going to start that back up. First one is going to be Wednesday. For those of you that haven't seen the scheduled video, it will be Wednesday morning at an hour before market opening. So 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. I do believe that means 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, so what we're going to do today, looks like things are operating properly now. Alright, so what we're going to do today is, I was away for a vacation last week, so there was no videos. Hope you guys all stay safe. Well, in regards to the market, hope you guys made some great money last week. Seems I've missed quite a bit of bull movement. I mean, look at Tesla. We're definitely going to be covering that today. Holy, congrats, Tesla bulls. Alright, first one, we're going to start it off same as usual. SPX, gonna cover the market. The plan today is we're gonna have to, because I'm a little bit lagging behind on what's going on from being away last week, as well as taking it easy the week before. We're gonna be doing a market deep dive, as well as gonna try to go through all the tickers on the watch list. So gonna try to make it relatively short, simple, to the point. Any tickers that does not look great, we're just gonna be skipping it. Take a quick glance, gonna say why it doesn't look great, and then we're gonna be skipping it. All right, so let's get into it. First one, SPX, new all-time high. Congrats, SPX bulls. So last time we discussed SPX was around this GP, and then we discussed it again somewhere. I can't remember which one it was, but during the GP, on this GP bounce on October 13th or 14th, I can't remember which day the video came out. We discussed how the opportunity for the bears are looking a little bit slimmer to hit this 2200. That was their chance to get that 2200. So this was an ABC as opposed to the potential AB 1 2 3 4 5 that we were looking at. So with that, sent out a warning that there's a chance that we will not be seeing 4200, especially if we're to break over this short-term trend line on SPX, which we did the following day with huge bull action. The interesting part was there was no big bull volume, but we did see huge bull price action, breaking over that, closing near the high of day. That is a confirmation that we will not be seeing 4200. Since then, we're seeing now a new all-time high on SPX. No daily bear divergence. That is great. So it was looking a little bit sketchy over here on this new all-time high that got shut down immediately. Next day it negated that, because if we were to reject from here, that would have given a daily bear divergence as well as a breakout fake out. So with that, now where are we going to run to? So this is a interesting part. I was looking at the extension target, doesn't really work out. I was looking at the trend line, doesn't really work out either, because right now we are over the trend line again, whereas normally I would have anticipated a rejection on the trend line, which would have been this day new all-time high, rejection, next day follow through kind of thing. But next day it was a huge bull volume. So with this, it brings me to think there is a whole lot more bullish action to come. So we're just under the 1 to 2 extension from this short-term bull movement. But let's take a look at the longer time frames. And let me know if you have any particular tickers that you are looking at. What does playback mean? Come on, guys. 6 playbacks and 0 current views. Anyways, okay. So longer term wise, GP, this does not apply. This does not apply. And let's see what the extension target looks like. Very clear higher low here, higher high, higher low. I'm going to change that to a 1-to-1 extension target. We're looking at 47.87. And if it's a little bit higher, where does that bring us? Because I am hearing talks of 5K. So there's 1 to 1.272. That would bring us near that 5K mark. But first of all, 47.87 would be the target that I'm looking at on this next run. There's no red flag so far. We saw decreasing bull volume following last week was an increasing bull volume. So if we can have to see where the rejection comes in. If we're to reject it from the 1 to 2 extension target on the weekly is a little bit scary. So as long as we don't negate this current potential bear divergence, that next leg down could be the one that brings us to 4,200. But we're gonna review the chart as the chart develops. So as of right now, there is no significant red flags for the bulls to be concerned. So we will keep playing bull until that happens. It is lacking a daily higher low. And this trend line bugs me because I do think that there should be another trend line within here somewhere, but this looks very significant. 4 supports, 5 supports, 1 major rejection. So we'll keep that there. Anyway, so we are lacking a daily higher low. We're gonna have to watch out today. Today did show an indecision candle at the potential top of the trend, but if we're to look at this, it did show indecision candle on this day. It showed a potential reversal candle on this day as well last week. So we're gonna need to see follow through to confirm that this is gonna be the top, but it is a little bit of a warning signal. There is no significant area for reason for rejection. So let's see what tomorrow brings. So far, the market is a little bit red. Nothing to be concerned about. But let's take a look at NAS. Just blasted through GP, blasted through everything. So we blasted through the 0.786, back tested it immediately. That it doesn't, I don't think it really matters, to be honest. So the extension target, same idea. We'll take a look at 1 to 2 extension, and we already blasted through it too. So the potential like this, we blast through 1 to 2 extension target before the rejection. As for the NAS, we did somewhat see a daily higher low. I wouldn't really call this a daily higher low. It is more so a daily bull flag that has confirmed now into new all-time high, and blasting through 1.2 extension, it is lacking a daily higher low. Yeah, so at this point with the market, I would still say use that 8-hour 8 as the guide. We saw bull flag confirmation here, bull flag, slight confirmation, a slight wick, slight close under it, and then immediately bought up again. So that 8-hour 8 remains the guide. We did see today it dipped down to that 8-hour 8 before getting bought up again. So as of right now, it is another bull flag on the 8 hours. 8 hours nearing that overbought condition, 75.6 RSI. And next is Dow, is nearing that new all-time high. So Russ is going to be remaining on top watch. This is very significant. The way I'm looking at this, non-stop daily higher lows. Okay, higher low, actually it started, first one higher low, another higher low, another 3 higher lows here, and we rejected from that wedge upper trend line, but it was immediately bought up 2 days later. Then we saw follow through today, breaking over that long-term wedge upper trend line. Okay, we're seeing new all-time high just around the corner, and when Russ goes to new all-time high, I do believe there is gonna be a lot of room to move. Russ has been in a sideways consolidation, sideways movement for 10 months now. 10 whole months now. That means when the market starts moving, when Russ starts moving, we could see some very, very nice follow through. Now today I sort of dozed off, taking it easy. Decided not to enter Russ because when I look at this chart, I sort of want to see a back test first. So the most ideal entry, what I'm looking at on Russ, would be from here. I sort of want to see back test, and confluence area would be right around here before an actual breakout into new highs, something like that. 2319 backtest. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So this is what I want to see on Russ. I don't want to see, we have had some decent bull movement. This is considered one leg. This is a daily higher low on Russ. So it would be a little bit red flaggy if we do come back immediately, but it's less concerning if it's immediate back test and go versus going and then breakout, fake out, coming back. I would rather have the immediate back test versus the breakout, fake out. So if we see back test, I will be making first entry here, long entry on Russ bull. The other reason why I'm looking at this a little bit differently is because of TNA. So when I look at TNA chart, TNA is a triple leverage of Russ, which generally, if you're looking at this, you should be using Russ as the underlying for chart references. When I look at TNA, there is a major resistance that's coming up that's been rejected multiple times here, another time here, chopped around it, but essentially rejected twice. And we are coming right up to it, right at that 101 area. And this is why I'm looking at, when I look at Russ chart, I sort of want to see this immediate backtest before a new all-time high. But that will be the focus between the 4 indexes. I will be focusing on Russ personally going forward for likely the rest of the year, especially if it makes new all-time high. Now, on the other hand, on the bullish thesis, If this were to see continuation immediately and see a new all-time high, we'll be making an entry, a smaller entry, but we'll be making an entry regardless on that new all-time high. Even if it's a breakout, fake out, we'll be looking at an add, and that's why it's a reduced sizing. But I like the movement. I like what we're seeing. This essentially was a bullish engulfing candlestick, and we are seeing follow through on that, which is great. Not to mention daily higher low has been set. The only cause for concern potentially right now would be the market pulling back, setting that daily higher low, which will drag Rust down along with it. So we're gonna have to see where the backtest comes in at. As for Dow, we don't look at this one too much, but we are seeing a little bit more bullish action, at least follow through here. There is a bearish divergence formed on the 8 hours. Price action going upwards, RSI going downwards. So there is currently a bearish divergence on Dow. We're going to need to see whether it follow through, given, you know, overnight. If we were to lose this 35,509, it would be a cause for concern on Dow. Right, let's take a look at the other leading indicators. First one, US dollars. Haven't taken a look at this in a long time. Oh wow, look at that, perfect bounce. So this is the channel that we were looking at. This was the resistance zone that we were looking at. The lower trend line, we saw multiple bounces here. It held, and then the upper trend line, multiple rejections here. And we did not get to it on the last 2 moves. We did see another bounce from that lower trend line. And as of, what was this? 28th? Sunday. Nope, I'm looking at November. 28th, Thursday. As of Thursday, we saw another bounce. 29th, Thursday, Friday, we saw another bounce from that lower trend line. So now essentially it's a triple bounce already. Very significant trend line. We are seeing a rejection from that previous high. Almost to the penny. Actually, to the 10th of a penny. And from here, if we were to see follow through today, that is a little bit cause for concern, because we are likely looking at loss of this lower trend line, which will bring us to lower prices to come. The most notable support resistance will be around 93.19. Which doesn't really line up with any of the previous ones. A lot of chop on this chart. Short term wise, this is the most notable previous resistance. Longer term wise, let's get this removed, clean up the chart as we go. This 93.47 is very notable area. But aside from that, we want to hold this lower trend line, because if that's lost, right underneath it, it's the only support resistance I can see at 93.17. If that's lost, we'll be looking back down at that key zone. So looking at this, it might be a good thing, because we did not get the back test of the key zone on the longer time frame wise. When we look at this, this is essentially one single move. So we did get immediate back test. We might want an actual back test. Anyways, US dollars, there's no significant notable reasons for cause for concern on the market. Unless we see huge crazy bull movement on US dollar, that is a little bit of a cause for concern, but right now there's nothing. As for US 10-year bond, what a bounce. Wow, we have not looked at this in a long time. So it was in a sideways action for quite a while. Broken bull, daily higher low, another high, higher low, higher high, potential higher low. And we're coming up to that yeah, we're coming up to that new high since pandemic relatively quickly. I don't know what this was for, but I don't usually use that color. So there, I gotta figure out what this is for. As the way bonds look, no cause for concern on the market yet either. So remember, this is yield, bond yields. A lot of people look at yields and think that they're looking at, what was it? Prices. So the correlation, just wanted to take a quick moment to explain why this is different. A lot of people think when the bond yields drop, the market should drop. And please do correct me if I'm wrong. And make sure to read up on this from the materials back in financial planning days. So I was looking at this, looking at the way people talk about it. It was confusing the hell out of me. And I think it might be confusing to you too. So generally, when the market goes up, bonds go down. And if you know the most basics of finances, you would know that. You should know that. That's one of the simplest terms, one of the simplest correlations. When market goes up, bonds go down. When bonds technically is when bonds go down, markets go up, because bond is generally a leading indicator. So, and then when bonds go up, markets go down. Now the interesting thing is, the thing that brought me to look back at this is we always say when you look at bond 10-year over 2-year, and then when that dips down under 1, under 0, under 1? No, is it under 1, I think it was. What was it that we used to look at? Let's take a look. Yeah, bond 10-year over 2-year. When it dips down below 1, that's an indicator that the market is going to crash, which it did for the last 2 times that we can see, right? So this was an indicator back in 2019 that market was going to crash, and it did from pandemic. This was the other one before that, 2007. It dipped down below 1. Now, the reason why I thought it was weird, because if we're looking at US 10 years and using that as a leading indicator, and then we're using this as a leading indicator, this is a 10-year over 2 years. So that means the 10-year price will go down, and then that would be a leading indication of the market crashing, market going down. So why is it that people say, or the saying is market or bond goes down, market goes up, bond goes up, and market goes down? Because that's inverse of what we're looking at. Now, the reason for that is we're looking at 10-year yield. We're not looking at 10-year prices. So yields are actually inverse of prices. As the bond yields go down, the bond prices go up. And this is why it's a lot of people are confusing what they're looking at when they're looking at bonds. When bonds are going up, market's going to go down. But we're looking at bond yields, which is an inverse of an inverse. Meaning that the inverse of the inverse, when US 10-year yield goes up, the US 10-year price is going to go down. Meaning market is going to go up. Okay, so this is a positive correlation to the market. So US 10-year bond went up starting September 23rd. Now, of course, we don't know the exact time of how much is leading. Regardless, from what I've been seeing, it's not that far ahead, just depending on how you want to look at it. If it's 10-year over 2 years, it generally seems to be a year and some, if you're predicting the market crashes, a year and some leading indication versus the US 10 years you're looking at would be, let's see, September 23rd it started, bullish movement broke out of that area. And the market was October 14th, so about 3 weeks ahead. Okay, we should mark that down somewhere, but we'll take a look again. Let me make a note of it. Anyways, so let's take a look. So when we look at the US 10-year, there is no major concern yet. Unless we lose this long-term trend line, then we could potentially be looking at a reversal in the market. So this has seen 1, 2, 3 bounces and another bounce of 4 bounces here, and then became double rejections, and we saw another 3 bounces here. So this is a very key trend line that we're looking at. As long as the US 10-year bond is going up, I do believe that we should see continued bullish action on the market. So let's take a look at gold. This is one messy chart. I believe what we were looking at was back here. So we saw a bounce on this previous high resistance. We saw 2 bounces. There's 1, 2. This is a bounce here. So 1, 2, 3 bounces in total from back here. And we so far have seen 2 bounces from that previous high resistance, which became support. Yeah, so there could be another bounce on gold on the longer picture wise, time frame wise. As of right now, looks like there's a little bit of wedge forming. Let's see how this works. I don't like that either. The best I can find is this upper trend line, which is kind of interesting because it's not an official wedge that we generally see. So this upper trend line, you do see rejection here. You do see slight supports here, and another rejection, another multiple rejections here. So there is a slight wedge forming right now, and this channel is no longer valid. So let's get that removed. Okay. So we are still seeing reaction to this 1788 price point, which was very notable from before. Triple rejections here. Mike, you can probably bring it up a little bit, but from the looks of it, I would actually bring it down a little bit. Yeah, I would actually bring it to here maybe. Sure, because then that's a lot clearer of a bounce. Another bounce here. Yeah, let's see what it looks like on the daily. I think it looks better. So this 1772 instead of 1788 looks like a very key price action that we're going to be wanting to keep an eye on. So right now it's in the short-term wedge. Lower trend line, double bounces. Upper trend line, multiple rejections. Not a clear area. It is missing a third bounce. So there is a potential for a third bounce on gold. We're going to watch for this price, 1675-ish. What's the last low? 1676, 1677. So it could be 1678 on that next bounce. The low of the next bounce. Let's set an alert actually. If we get to here, I'll be looking at buying. 1792. Good enough. All right. Next is Bitcoin. A little bit of a red flag. New all-time high immediately shut down on that same week. Is it the next day? It is the next day. So a little bit of a red flag, but right now it is forming a weekly bull flag. There is potential for continued movement on Bitcoin. Gonna have to watch for the reaction when the daily 8 catches up, which could be next week or the week after. We are essentially holding that top of the key zone as well. So the chart looks relatively strong. I like what it's looking like. I like the price actions on it. Okay. Yeah, no major concern for it until that weekly 8. And, you know, depending on where you started playing it, you should be relatively green on this chart if you've been playing it. I will use the weekly 8 as my guide. Longer term wise, on the shorter term, I would probably use this key zone, or at least the last low, 58. Put a stop under 58 is what I would do. I want to see this bull flag formation confirm. That weekly 8 next week is going to be higher than 5800. You could put it a little bit lower. The low of last week is 57,820, so maybe put it below 55 or 57 kind of thing. But there's no cause for concern on Bitcoin. So congrats, Bitcoin bulls. I do see a next move coming in. Okay, that's it for the market. Actually, there's one more. Let's take a look at Hive. Well, that did not work out. Looks like the both trend lines are still serving. I don't like this trend line. This could work. There's no visible to me, there's no visible lower trend line as of right now. You could say that short term wise, this could be a very significant trend line. So essentially short term, there is a rising channel that's forming. Let's just redraw that here, but there is a very notable upper trend line on this channel that is forming and reacting to. So as of right now, this is a channel, upper trend line, 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections already, and we're gonna need to see what the reaction looks like on the next touch of the lower trend line. It's been 1, 2 bounces so far. Hive, no real cause for concern. Right now is a daily bull flag, slightly choppy. I will use the 3.42 as my stop, just under it. 3.42, we can see clear rejection here, clear support here, that daily higher low. Shorter term wise, that is a key to hold on 3.42. Next one, let's get into the hottest stickers. The top watches, the bulls. First one, Tesla. Jesus, what did I miss? Congrats, Tesla bulls. So went on vacation last week. Left on Saturday before last week. Yeah, the Saturday before last week. And this was Friday, right? Yeah. So on Friday, I was thinking, you know, Tesla, new all-time highs. Let's get this done. I wanted to get in. I wanted to get a lotto. Wanted to get something. Wanted to get some commons. But I was like, you know what? Vacation, I need to relax. I don't want to look at charts. No, just leave it. It was one of the hardest debates I've had in a while. Cause technically, you know, if I'm not looking at charts, I could just buy like a 2-week out Tesla kind of thing, calls, and just leave it for 1 week, with the right sizing, of course, with the right amount of risk. Lotto. That's why it's called lotto. You know, it could go to 0 because I'm not going to be looking at it for a week. My goodness, look at this. So new all-time high, closed near the high of day. Hard choice not to pick it up. Jesus. Earnings, let's go back a little bit more actually. So day before earnings, slight bearish pressure. Earnings, nothing really happened. Next day was a gap down with an immediate buy up, rejection from that new previous high. And next day was slight movement going into new all-time high, closing at the high, closing at the all-time high, closing the week. My goodness. Next day, huge gap up, continue running, and it just continued running from there. One thing I am noticing on Tesla on the weekly is there is a triple gap already. So there's a little bit, I would say it's a big cause for concern. And let's see what the extension target looks like. So we blew right past that 1-to-1 extension target. The 1 to 1.272 extension target is right around that 1200 that we are slightly over. So this actually adds to the concern that I had. What I'm looking at here is the high 843, the low 851. So this is that first gap, very, very little. You're gonna have to actually look at the number. I had to make sure and look at the number up here. This is that first gap regardless. Second week, second gap. Third week, now I had to look at this one again. High 1115, low 1118. So we did not fill it today. We did not fill the gap today. If we continue running, I will be looking bearish on Tesla relatively soon. We are overbought on the weekly. We're overbought on the RSI is at 94. Who's in this? 8R, I guess is the same as the 80. 4R RSI is at 93. Already slight bearish divergence potential. We're gonna need to see that rejection to confirm there is a bearish divergence. But oh my goodness, the ADR is at 94. What is going on? Anyway, when we played Tesla last, the actual last good play was right here, right on here, the day before the S&P uplisting news. This was what did it end up being? 118% over 36 trading sessions. And what's 100%? Oh, okay. So if I use a log chart, maybe this will look different. So technically, the percentage wise, it hasn't ran nearly as much as last time. Right now we're at 35 trading sessions and it is looking at 70% move so far. So if we look at the log chart, yeah, there we go. Okay, so the move, the S&P uplisting was actually a bigger move, but just because of the price wise, it's looking like it's a bigger move right now. Anyways, so triple gap on the weekly, 3 gap reversal. There is a saying for that for a reason, and we are at the 1.272 extension target. I would anticipate some sort of some sort of high to be in soon, but we're gonna need to see that reversal sign first, and then the confirmation. I would not stand in front. The one name I would not stand in front of going bear is Tesla. I was actually just talking to my friend today, and I would feel a lot more comfortable playing bear on the market because when Tesla is gonna go bearish, the market is likely gonna go bearish. It's one or the other, or it could also be the market is just helping. Well, yeah, I can see that. Market's helping Tesla run so far. And when the market goes bearish, that could be when Tesla starts going bearish. But regardless, right now, there's no reason for exiting. You should be using, I would be using, I don't like that already. Use the 4-hour 8 as your guide. You can see since the beginning of this move, when we actually started moving, the last time we lost it was October 5th. And then it just started running. And then the 4-hour 8 was never lost. Okay, so if you're in, you should be really green right now. And there's no cause for concern until that 4-hour 8 is lost. So that's Tesla. Watch for that reversal signal. Next is NVIDIA. Wait, why do I have NVIDIA on here? Ah, new all-time high. Okay. NVIDIA, Not a whole lot of movement today, but we did see new all-time high. There's a whole lot of great tickers out there right now. So I had a hard time picking 4. But I decided to pick NVIDIA because it's a new all-time high. We are seeing continuation on it, and I don't even know what to call this anymore. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a extended leg of number 5 run so far. We're getting to that daily overbought territory on NVIDIA. No sign of slowing down though. I could see a potential catalyst would be earnings on November 11, quad 1111 of 2021. From here, if we were to see a reversal candle, I would anticipate an ABC at the very minimal. But NVIDIA is more so a momentum play. Stay with it. I can't see a back test of this previous high triple rejection right around 230-ish. Just under 230. So this would be a key zone. We're going to have to see where the backtest comes in. Personally, I would anticipate the backtest to be somewhere around here. Why is the chart so messy? Let's clean everything up here. Hey, I'm sorry I missed your comments there in NASCAR. Anyways, okay. So NVIDIA looks like there's a lower trend line here. We're seeing rejection, slight support here, bounce, 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 triple bounce. This is a very notable trend line. Let's change it to the long term. Short term wise, there is an upper trend line that we are just getting over today. So we're gonna need to see continuation, momentum play until that hourly. No, I'll probably say the same. Yeah, until the 4-hour 8 is lost, there's no cause for concern. We're seeing bounce here, and not even a touch lately. 4-hour 8 is your guide, right? So what did you say, NASCAR? NASCAR? Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Trade ideas for tomorrow. Well, that's what we're doing right now. I'm trying to go over, because he's coming back from vacation, so trying to go over as many tickers as I can, trying to find a good trade idea. But you know, if you're looking at, depending on if you're looking at shorter term or longer term, I wouldn't exactly go into longer term trades right now for trade ideas. Shorter term wise, what I really like is what I can see from my 16, 24 charts. 18, yeah, 24 charts is a little bit limiting, but what I can see is Sophie, really like. There is F-Cell, I really like. Face Drive is kind of interesting. It could be going for that second run You know, if you remember, for those that actually played, it was 500% run from 88 cents to $4.66. So keep an eye on Face Drive. $1.57 right now. That move has been crazy today, even just for scalping. So trade ideas right now, I'm keeping everything to a scalp, more so a scalp trade than a swing trade, because a lot of things look overbought. A lot of things look like it needs daily higher lows. So more so momentum plays. Yeah, so those will be the names I'll be looking at tomorrow. Tesla, Face Drive, FCell. Without going through our whole list yet, those be the three names more likely. DraftKings maybe, I don't really like it yet. AMD is looking not bad. Ying, YINN, Ying. That's the other one. All right, so ABVC, Biopharma, 10 times pre-market. Do you mean pre-market today? Nearly 10x pre-market. Let's see. Sorry, I don't see the 10 times. I see 300%. Oh, you're talking about pre-market. I wouldn't never really look at pre-market as an indicator, especially if it's selling off immediately like that. I still don't see 10x. I see 4. I mean, this could be that because I'm not paying for the data package, but what I'm seeing it's 410%, so that's 4 times 4x. Are you still here? I'm seeing your new comments, but I'm not seeing. Anyways, 4 a.m. Okay, I'm looking at 5 a.m. Anyways, regardless, with pre-market prices, especially if it sells off like this and you see huge upper wick to follow that again, that is huge selling pressure. And generally, I wouldn't take pre-market prices into consideration. So this, without knowing what's going on in the background, what my guess would be is a news that's caused this. A news that's cost us, and then when the market open, pre-market, whether it's pre-market or whichever, then there's a lot of market makers, future sellers that just looking to take profit. So this is actually more so a red flag to me, in the sense that when I look at this, big gap up, but people don't believe in the company. Or just taking profits. There's no major resistances that I can see. So the major resistance would be probably around that 5 area. So I can see this, due to today's candle, I can see this continue selling till somewhere around 455, which would actually make a lot of sense. Because if you look at this chart, somewhere around here, there's going to be bag holders from back here. Those people who bought in early, and even people from here. So that would be another major resistance. But people who bought in all the way from back here, they've been holding on for a long time. There's profit, so there would be a lot of profit taking. And based on today's candle, a lot of people do not want to hold this long term, from what it looks like. And earnings is coming up on November 11th. If you're not in, and if you're looking for an entry, you could consider an entry at 450. But what I would say is, as a more so warning, it's like, you know, you want to see what the reaction looks like at 450 first. If you see a reversal bounce starting, that could be a very nice area, just because this is a support, resistance, and we saw double rejections here. So this will be a back test. This will be a back test before a next leg up. And what's the other one that you're looking at? Big BTTX, recent NAS uplisting, FCUV. You traded a lot, smaller caps, eh? 99 mil, $17. There's one hard chart to look at. Okay, so one thing to be aware of on these kind of charts, you look on the daily. Some days it doesn't even move, so the volume is extremely small. The market cap on this is 486 mil, volume is 99 mils. Some days it doesn't even move at all, so it could be one single buyer that is causing this whole move here, while some other people are taking profits. So that could mean a whole lot of things. It could be that that person knows something and that's why he wants in. It could be that manipulating the market manipulation, you know, he's buying it up and then selling it to other people. So he could be buying, you know, all the way up to here. People see volume, people see huge volume coming in, other people jump on, and then that's when he sells. With these kind of charts, especially on daily chart, when it doesn't even move on the daily, it's not something that personally I like to touch, just because liquidity wise there could be a concern as well. If you're looking to sell, there's not going to be enough buyers there, kind of thing. Okay, so with this huge upper wick, I would give it time for the chart to develop a little bit first. This is not a chart that's good to easy on the eyes at all. There's no patterns, there's no there's no area of support or resistances, because all I can see is a flat line. Hey, what's a flat line on a heartbeat monitor, right? So this could be that's coming to life, but give it time. Let some pattern develop first. That if you see continued volume, regardless of bulls or bears, this could mean that the chart is now live. Okay, but as of right now, I would not be touching it, just personally. Heavy volume. Yeah, that's what we just looked at. Yeah, I wouldn't really call this heavy volume. It's either news, market maker, someone driving it. Because generally there's no volume. Any volume is going to look like heavy volume, right? Five-minute chart. Does that mean it just started trading today? So these were all what are they called? Pre-uplisting? Okay, let's take a look at 15-minute then. RSI is okay. It's looking, if this is IPO or new uplisting into NASDAQ, I think you said. Okay, so if this is a new uplisting into NASDAQ, I would want to see previous price actions regardless, because right now it looks like it's looking like a hype to me with all the IPOs that I've seen before. It's looking like a classic IPO movement so far. Okay, and what I mean by that is classic IPO price action is always going to be IPO open, immediate buy up, and then slow selling off. Okay, so with that, if you're looking at if you're not in, let's go the other way around. If you are in, I would sell. Personally, I would take profit. You should be green already. Yeah, you should be green already, regardless whether if you bought at the IPO open or you bought pre-IPO. You should be green. I would take profits. But if you're not in and if you're looking for an entry, be patient, give it a couple of days. Right now, it has just lost the short-term immediate key support right here, 1843. This we see rejection. This is the only notable support resistance right now that I can see. Okay, 1843. So we saw slight rejection here, support, and then another slight support here, but we did lose it and we did close under it with decent bear volume as well. Short term wise, if you wanted to draw a zone, there could be a zone here. Rejection, support at the top of the zone, lost it, immediate rejection from top of the zone again, rejection lower of the zone, top of the zone. So this shorter term wise, this could be a notable zone that you want to stay in mind. As for pattern wise, so it's just the same thing as you would do on daily charts. Potential descending wedge. Probably draw it to there. Yeah, potential descending wedge. So rejection, 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 multiple here, and then double support so far. Gonna have to watch tomorrow if this. So if you're not out yet, let's say if you're not out yet from this key support resistance, the loss of this key support resistance at 1843, tomorrow if you see a loss of this lower short-term lower trend line, that is a major red flag. I would see. So two more things to lose before a potential dragged out sell-off. One is this lower trend line. Two is the low of IPO at 1188. Once the 1188 is lost, there is a good potential for long-term consolidation before an actual move. Okay. Sympathy momentum. Okay. Anyways, okay, let's get back to our hottest tickers. Coin. Congrats, coin bulls. Woo! Look at this chart. Broke over the short-term trend line. Immediate backtest. Continuation. Continuation without Bitcoin too. So looking at there's a the newly developed upper trend line is going to be somewhere around there. And this one is no longer valid or potentially still valid. Yeah, we'll keep that there for now. But this is the upper trend line that we're looking at for coin. So last time the bounce commenced on coin, it rejected from the 0.382. Now let's see if we were to copy this over GP. I can see that another rejection, 2 more days. So there is a slight upper wick right now. There is a bear divergence right now. If we were to see continuation, I would anticipate a rejection right around that confluence area between the GP as well as the upper trend line. And we're going to be looking at a daily higher low before if there's another leg up. I do believe there's going to be a next leg up on coin. Chart looks great. You know, IPO. Okay, so this is classic IPO. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound condescending. If I do apologize. I don't mean to sound condescending. I'm simply discussing what the chart looks like to me. Okay. You know, this is what I mean by IPO. Anyways, so this is what I mean by IPO. IPO, immediate buy up, and then sell off, and then consolidation for long term before an actual move that comes. Okay, so this is why, you know, with IPOs, there's a very nice move to play off the beginning, and then give it a lot of time before an actual move comes. Okay, PBLG 62% after hours. It's the same thing. It's on the daily chart. You look at this, there's dashes everywhere. There's no volume. One single person, rich person, one single big whale, one single market maker, whoever, they can move the chart 62% easily. I'm not trying to sound condescending. I'm just telling you like how it is. This chart normally has 1.7 million volume and is a 52 million market cap. It is very easy to move this chart. Okay, anyone with 52 million dollars, they can just come in and basically buy the company, and then you will see the chart move like crazy, right? So it's not exactly a chart that you should be looking at, especially after hours too. You know, even you look at the daily during the trading hours, there's not a whole lot of movement. Oh yeah, I know some of the biggest movements have been IPOs, the biggest gainers, of course. But on the longer time frame wise, you know, on the IPO day, actually, now that you say that, RBOX is one of the nicest gainers on. Yeah, one of the better gainers that I've seen on IPOs. It did not see that long-term consolidation, but it did see a revisit of the IPO low before the move actually begun, and that was almost 100%. And the other one I remember was, I believe, it's Airbnb. Yeah, so it did see that IPO sell off as well, immediate profit taking before a move up, and this was a 100% move. So it's not always going to be the case with IPO selling off. Regardless, majority of the cases I do see is coin, for example, it does have a long-term consolidation, but it did find the bottom, and this key zone was a must hold, and from there we saw continuation. Anyways, next one is GME. So GME is going to be on top watch for me this week as well. If you're looking for a play tomorrow, NASCAR, this should be, you could put this onto your list. I don't know if it suits your playing style. But GME, you know, it's a hype stock, it's a meme stock, and long-term sideways wedge. From here, we saw a sideways action since, depending on how you want to look at it, you could say January, you could say March, but it's been sideways for a long time, and we saw a bull break today with decent follow-through. So played the monthly November 19, 200 call today. Didn't nail the entry on it. I think I entered somewhere around here on the 190 area. And then it ended up being almost 100% trade on this, just one single trade. Tomorrow, I do anticipate follow through eventually, but I wanted to see what tomorrow looks like, see if we get immediate backtest first. GME is going to be on top watch going for the rest of the week, potentially into next week, because we're going to have to see what tomorrow first. And then if we break over today's high, that would be a gold signal. Following that, once the 231 is broken, there's huge upside potential on this chart. Congrats, GME bulls. Let's see that follow through. Nice increasing bull volume, low bear, following that low bear volume. Only concern is earnings coming up November 23rd, which is quite some time out, and post monthly options. Okay, and the next one is so that's it for the hottest tickers I'm looking at. Let's take a look at some of the requested tickers. Okay, first one is gonna be, oh wow, this one worked out. It's working out fairly decently on AVPT. Scenario 1 that we were anticipating, scenario 2 that we were anticipating, possible scenarios. So this was the thesis 1. We did not come down to the lower trend line, which is great. That means there's potential, more upside potential than, there's more upside potential than anticipated then. However, we do need to break over this key upper trend line, this white one right now. We did break over the upper trend line of the channel. Just depending on how you draw it, it could be drawn a little slightly higher. Regardless, we need to get over this zone. And then following that, I want to see a touch of this lower part of the key zone before coming back to back test. Chart looks great right now, and it is working out like how we anticipated. A lower low. Now we're seeing a daily trend change. Higher low into higher high. AVPT. Ooh. Oh, there is a lot of potential on this chart. I'm not looking up here. By the way, when I say potential, I don't mean, potentially going back to what previous high means. I'm just looking at simply the chart, what the potential looks like for reversal. And because we are getting that daily reversal, we're going to need to break over this. Let's see. We need to break over this 1080 for the confirmation of a daily reversal, but we did get that lower low, lower high, higher low, and then higher high. So right now the daily trend has changed. Confirmation, I want to see at least a break over the 1020. So we see multiple rejections here, 1018, 1018 again. Once that 1020 is broken, I will be convinced that this is going to be seeing a continued bullish movement. So the setting alert above the 1020. All right, next is Sophie. Hey man, I don't know why you're bashing on me. If you got some $100 million shares today, plenty of liquidity, I guess, yeah. $100 million shares today. Is this the IPO one? Okay, yeah. Yeah, like I said, man. I was looking at the daily, and the daily was giving me information of pre-uplisting. So when I look at into it, that's why you told me to zoom in. Zoomed in and look at the 5 minute. So this is IPO. There is going to be plenty of liquidity. So I'm not saying that there's not going to be liquidity, but when I look at the daily, I was basing it off of the wrong info of this, which is not uplisted, and that's why there's not a whole lot of liquidity. But when you look at the post IPO, which is today, 99 million shares, the movement does say there's going to be a lot of liquidity, but I do believe that it is still going down. And it's a matter of what you think the price is going to be, what the company is worth. You know what? Let's set a follow up on this BTTX. I want to see whether the price is going to be higher or lower. Give it a week. By the end of the week, we will. How am I going to do this? Let's see if it breaks the key zone, or does it break down under IPO low. How's that? Let's set an alert. Follow up on it. So my guess is going to be we're going to break below the IPO low, and I'm assuming your guess is gonna break above the IPO high. We'll take a look. Anyways, next is Sophie. 12% move today. Messy chart. This was amazing. Breakdown, no follow through. What a golden opportunity. Anyways, so I think we started looking at this chart from somewhere back here. Look at the volume today. Wow. Higher prices come. Long-term wedge, triple rejection on this upper trend line, and immediate follow through breaking over the upper trend line. This chart looks great. 1, 2, 3, 4 supports from the bottom of the lower trend line as well. With the market's help, I do believe this chart will see a new all-time high very soon. Without the market's help, I do believe this chart will see all-time high regardless. Just gonna take a little bit longer. The earnings coming up on November 10th, so wouldn't really be looking at. Actually, if you're looking for an entry on Sophie, even right now would be decent because we did just set the daily higher low. I would do it on a reduced sizing, and I would likely look at profit taking around here because we're gonna need to see a higher low before an actual leg up that breaks over into new all-time high. And what's the other ones that BNGO? Doesn't really look too interesting. Wow, what a messy chart. So we are still in that long-term wedge. It looks like there's a wedge inside a wedge now, actually. Let's do here. Oh, okay, so it does look a little bit interesting. All right, let's update the alert here. We're gonna want to break over this area. We're gonna want to break over this resistance. Ideally, break over, close above these supports. This is a key area to break over. And I want to redraw the key zones here. They're too big. There's a gap down below. Hey, what happened to the... Oh, it's right where the alert is. Okay. So I'm gonna zoom in on this. Gonna want to see a break over this key zone. Once we do get close to it, alert goes off, we'll be looking at potential entry on BNGO. Even right now, it's relatively safe actually. We're near that lower part of the longer term wedge. There's huge upside potential. 41% even just to touch that upper trend line again. Now I'm gonna make this even lower. I like the chart. Nice volume. Anyways, next one. I have to cut it short here. We'll go through the rest of the tickers tomorrow morning. And schedule a live for tomorrow at a bit earlier. Let's say 6 o'clock. Somewhere between 6 and 6:30. I'm gonna go through some of the hottest tickers I'm looking at. But before I end it off here, I just want to go over the tickers that I was talking about. The hottest ones that we'll likely be looking at for either tomorrow or the rest of the week. Going into the rest of the week. First one's gonna be FSL. Look at this daily trend reversal. So we talked about it. We played it here. And played the bounce up, sold the bounce up and run. It was sold it right here on the top of the key zone. And then we played it again on this next bounce here. Did not play the last bounce. And look at this daily reversal. My goodness, there's going to be for sure higher prices come. Bounce from GP. Oh, that looks nice. So bounce from GP, new daily higher high. The next notable support resistance gonna be around 962. This one no longer applies. Yeah. Oh, we're right there. Okay, let's see what tomorrow looks like. But based on today's volume and price action, I do believe higher prices should come. And if we break over the 950 area, 960 area, we will be looking at the next key support resistance at 1131. That's another 20-some% away. Almost 20% away. So FSL, there's lots of room to move. Chart looks a little bit overbought though. Anyways, gonna be keeping a close eye on FSL, and the other one is FD, phase drive. So very interesting move today. Forgot to update my alert. I had my alert, the old alert at 124, I think it was. Yeah, 124. This previous support and slight rejection here. Some rejections here as well. I had my alert at 124. Should have updated to right here, 109, where we can see some supports here and a rejection here above the 88. 109 would have made sense, but regardless, we played this with a scalp today at 120 on the break of 124. Entered on 124, sold at 160. And the high was, what is this? So there's 66, 160. That alone was a 28% trade. Increasing bull volume, closing the day with relatively small bear volume. Really like what phase drive is doing. I do have a little bit of concern that we might not see follow through tomorrow. And that's based on the linear regression. I don't discuss this much in the videos, but it is something I use on like a somewhat of a guidance, because it's not guaranteed. It's not, well, I guess nothing is guaranteed, but it's not, how do I put this? It gets really confusing for those who haven't used it before, because it's a constant changing guidance. Okay, as the chart moves, this channel, it's always going to present you with a channel and the middle trend line. This channel is going to move along with the chart. So the reason why I think that there's potential that there's no follow through is because we are already over the upper trend line. But a lot of times when in order for the channel to move and reverse, it needs that constant over and then coming back down in order to move, sort of shift the channel. Where's my hand? This way? No, this way. No, sorry, this way. Yeah, so sort of shift the channel from here to slightly moving it upwards. Because the candle right now is outside of the upper trend line. So then it's going to shift to adjust so that it's inside the trend line. But the problem with it right now is there is still some of these ones. So if it does shift upwards, these ones are going to be outside. But I can see potential for reversal on FD, phase drive, dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it. Weekly kind of. Yeah, okay, maybe monthly. Oh yeah, lots of room to move on the monthly. Phase drive, the other one I'm looking at. Ying. So use Ying as the last one for today. Ying, today we see bullish engulfing closing near the high of the day. Thought about getting in right at the open today, but decided, you know what, gonna hold off on sticking to the plan. So I'm going to stick to the plan and be a little bit more conservative until I'm fully caught up to the market as well as all the tickers. Ying is one of the top watches that are going to remain on top watch for quite a while, because for those of you that haven't seen the video or forgot, this is a year-long wedge, descending wedge. We see uptrend line, we see lower trend line, and we have gotten that amazing perfect entry. Okay, 851 from back here, 827 from back here, and we entered around $9, I think. No way, low is 909. Okay, we entered around $10. That sounds right, yeah. And with this, I do see a bounce continuation from here. Oh, looking at this monthly chart is making me really want to buy it tomorrow. I might actually still buy it tomorrow. Anyways, Ying is looking amazing for continuation, even if it's just a bounce to that upper trend line. From after today's move, we'd be looking at 127%. So keep an eye on Ying. All right, so that's it for today's video. We're gonna continue going through all the tickers tomorrow. I might change it up and not do live, depending. Let me know what you guys feel. You know, how you guys liked it. And thank you for watching. Thank you, NASCAR, for bringing the tickers to my attention. BTTX. Really looking forward to what's going to happen to that one. Indication of how it will trade. FCUV. All right. Last one. Ooh, wrong one. Okay, what day is IPO on FCUV? Early pre-market 9:10. Okay, early pre-market. Yeah, it is this day. Okay. But I don't get it. Why are you upset? This is basically what I'm saying that the stock is gonna do. IPO day is going to be running up, and then following that is going to be long-term consolidation. I don't think I'm right. No, I'm just saying, I thought you were here to see, you're asking about, Are you not here to ask about what my thoughts on this stock? I don't understand. Anyways, but yeah, so it's this is the general behavior of IPOs. On the day, it's going to be bought up, and then it's going to be long-term consolidation. So basically, we're on the same page. So I don't know why you're upset. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.